introduce Dr. Kimberly Wilson. Yes, welcome, Dr. Kimberly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you. We are speaking about mindset and reset and so many positive advices. Can you please tell us, we start from first name, where are you located, and give us like some story and some tips.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Ludmila Schaefer. I appreciate the offer to come share with you all today. So I'm originally from Detroit. Currently, I am in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and an international psychologist. And I'm so glad you invited me to tell a story because Jennifer just gave so many wonderful tips just now, and I was hoping that I wouldn't repeat, but I'd like to share this story that kind of crystallizes for people the power of your mind and the way that you think. So if you allow me to do so, I got a quick little story.
Yes, please. Yes, we all can't wait. Actually, I'm even repositioning myself. Yes.
So imagine, I'm going to use a story that's really relatable. Imagine that you're going to a drive-through. So I go through the drive-through to get some fast food. I pay the teller. I buy $10 worth of food. I give them a $20 bill. The teller walks away. I begin to think, does she think I'm stupid? She kept my $10. I'm going to I'm going to talk to the manager. I'm going to have that lady fired because she stole from me. Okay, that's situation A. Situation B, still going through the drive-through. I order $10 worth of food. I give her $20. The cashier walks away and I think, oh man, it's really busy in there. You know what? She's probably not paying attention. So I'm patient and I'm understanding, right? Situation C. I go through the drive-through again. I order $10 worth of food. I give them a $20 bill. I don't get my money back. And I say, oh, look at her. I bet she looks like she hasn't eaten in a while. She probably has kids to take care of. You know what? I'm just going to let her keep that money as a blessing. So that in that way, I'm empathetic and I'm caring. So we can see through that story that the facts of the story didn't change one iota. What changed was the way that I thought about the situation, and that dictated my emotions and it dictated my actions. And when I tell that story, people seem to really get it and understand the power of the mind because it's such a common example. And so you've probably seen people do that, overreact in situations in that way.
Yeah, a lot of times, we sort of have our own perception and someone says, and I think, why this person approached me like this? Why, speaks to me like this? What's happening? And I think it's probably, I have to work on myself and reset my own mind, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that dictates, our perception dictates our reality and our experience. So often, what I find in a lot of people when I begin to work with them and we begin to tease out why they think that way or why they're responding in certain ways, it begins to open up their perception of like, wow, there's a different way to respond. I can feel a different way. Even though I have this circumstance, I can change the way I move through this circumstance. I can change the way that I move through this reality. And please.
No, I was going to ask, how did you actually decide to do this? Did you come to conclusion it was an experience, or am I supposed to just wake up in the morning and listen, Dr. Kimberly Wilson? Well, actually, right now, I will be thinking of you every time in this situation. But how do I reset my mind? How do I click to this point?
Right. Well, and Jennifer gave some really, really good tips. But one of the things that I suggest is always starting with a vision. Right. So when you have a vision, you know where you're going. You know what direction. So if I'm going out of town, I absolutely I'm going to use GPS. I'm going to use a map because that tells me how to get there. And when you want to change a circumstance in your life, have a clear vision of where you want to go, what you want to have, and then you walk backwards from that new reality to determine what are the steps I need to take to change my current circumstances. And that's one of the ways that you can very easily begin to change that. Um, Also, controlling your fear of failure. A lot of times, people stay in the same mindset because they fear failing. They don't want to try. It feels much better to have that delayed gratification and just say, well, I didn't have time to do it, or I wasn't able to do it, rather than the risk rejection or failure. And we have to reframe that as an opportunity. I love telling the story about how Edison tried, over 1,000 times, and he got it wrong until he got the light bulb. So he got it wrong 999 times, but that 1,000th time, we have the light bulb. So looking at failure as an opportunity, okay, that I learned something new. That doesn't work. What can I do differently?
Yeah. I really enjoy. I just would like to emphasize for our audience how you said we walk backward and we learn from failure. I think this is so powerful and so strong because we all think, okay, it's going to get better, and we are, but that really reset the mind, walk backward. Yes, please continue, Dr. Kimberly.
Yes. And one of the third thing that I think is really powerful to help reset your mind is to monitor your input. And let me expand on that. So we are beings who are just soaking up information from all sources, whether it's music, whether it's the people around us, our family, our friends, just all of these experiences. They tell us things about ourselves. So if you constantly surround yourself with negative messages or people who are downing you or who have a poverty state of mind that things can't get any better, why would you try this? I think you told the own story about how people said you could never do things because you had an accent. So if you continue to listen to those without creating new pathways, new messages, that becomes your reality because it's being constantly reinforced, all of those negative messages. So you have to be very intentional about creating your new reality. So I often suggest to clients to use something very, very basic because most of us have, and I'm trying to grab an empty one, most of us have these laying around, Post-it notes. They are the best thing since sliced bread. And so I ask them to create new messages for themselves, to rewrite their story and put them strategically in different places in their home or even in their car, or even carry a card with them and read that. Every time you come across it, read it, create a new reality, change your mind, change the way you think about a situation or a circumstance, and then that becomes your reality.
Yeah, this is very powerful because if I was told it's never good enough, how am I going to come out of situation? If someone surrounded people that tells, no, this is not enough, maybe grade not too high, maybe position, maybe this, maybe salary, maybe clean dishes, whatever it is, how do you actually unclick and unleash from this situation? So by making those notes and by making the positive messages, did I understand correctly?
Yes, those positive affirmations and new messages. Excellent. You begin to create those new neural pathways, new thoughts about your reality and your circumstances, and then you begin to act on those. You begin to one of the most beautiful things I saw is a client who went from feeling that she was ugly and unwanted to actually loving herself and her body, and it was so rewarding.
This is very powerful. And also, I would like to ask you, Dr. Kimberly, and it kind of also close to my heart, what actually made you to do what you are doing? You are helping so many people, you are creating, and so many audience listening to you. And I wish everyone connect with you and with all our guests, because what actually made you to do what you are doing? It's hard. You not only have to motivate and have a positive input for other people, but how do you actually lift yourself up?
Well, I'm going to make it a short story. You asked why I got into this, and that I saw my mother going to therapy for 5 years and not having any significant change in the way she was feeling, in the way she walked and moved through her life. And it made me so angry that it motivated me to enter into this profession so that I could serve and help and not allow people to continue to flounder and not get any results. And what typically motivates me is that I love to challenge myself, and I love to reinvent, and I love to recreate. And Jennifer was talking about a vision board. I've got my vision board right here, but it's not the app. It's actually a vision board. So what I suggest, I live that. It's not just meant for other people. I'm implementing it in my life. So I challenge myself frequently and create new realities because I want to be sure that I am giving helpful and useful tips.
Yes, and I'm learning from you. I have a tiny vision board, and I think I'm going to expand tonight. Thank you so much, Dr. Kimberly. I wish you would join us later for more conversation, as well as if you please wait, and we will have a panel at the top of the hour. And with that, everyone, please connect with Dr. Kimberly Wilson. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that,